Add to stage. Add to stage. Aseer. I bet you I can hear you now. You figured it out. Wait a minute. When you come back to the couch. Yeah, I hear you in the
What?
background.
Hear me now?
I hear you now, brother.
Hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay, I got it.
We're gonna figure this out, man. I know that's what Moors do.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
We think, we patient, and we figure things out.
Praise be Allah. That's how we got to do it.
Praise be Allah, man. That's what we doing, man. How you been, brother?
One
Oh,
day.
so first of all, excuse me. Let me introduce to y'all, man. This brother here, master teacher.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
He might not wanna take this on, but he got to do it. It's time. Elder status. I know because me too. I know we
right.
elder status,
Word.
right? Yeah. So, but look, this brother here, yeah, man. If you need to learn what you need to learn, what you need to learn. This is how. This is who. I'm already embedded in more science.
Islam.
But I learned so much from Aseer too. That's what we do. You know, we
learn
putting these this puzzle together.
Islam.
Islam.
That's right.
Right. So, but this man here, 10 toes down.
Thank you, bro.
Enough for the foolishness.
Thank you, bro.
And y'all know we used to be like the police. Did y'all know that?
Word.
Yeah, we used to be like the police, man.
Word.
We used to yank people up, but what you doing? If you ain't in code, if you doing something wild, if you pedophile and stuff, boy, we yanking you up.
That's right.
We yoking you up.
That's right.
All over the world.
That's right. Let me get a charger. Hold
on. Right. Y'all ain't know that? We yoked you up. We was the yoke uppers.
Word. Word.
I don't know.
Word.
See, this is why they tried. This is why they write these books, man. They write these books, academia. They write these books, man. When you find out what you're reading, man, might not be so substantial, but you, as a Moor, should be able to read between the lines and understand that it's trash. Or you get the meat from the substance and spit the bones out. That's what we say. One of our sayings, right?
That's right.
So you got to be able to read something and pull out of what needs to be pulled out of it and throw all of the trash away.
That's right.
Now, so let me go back to introducing my brother. Now, man, I can't. It's so many words. I can't even. Man, listen, man. Master teacher, man. Master teacher, man. You hear me? Wow. And I'm paying homage to him right now.
Honest, brother. Thank you, man.
Right now, paying homage to Aseer, for real, because he deserves it. You hear me?
Thank you, brother.
This brother got over 30 decades of putting in work. 10 toes down. You hear me? On some, I don't want to say it, on some El Rukin. You know what I mean? Stop playing. Do I got to go there?
Islam.
See, y'all don't understand, man. The Moors, we always been running shit, man. We always been running stuff, man.
That's right.
We always been running stuff. Y'all just gotta get y'all minds right and learn knowledge yourself. So I'm gonna give Aseer the floor. Listen, man, master teacher. Okay, master teacher.
Honest.
Got time in that where you don't even understand VHS. He been doing this since the VHS age, man.
Facts.
Come on, man. And this is how we build from generation to generation.
That's right. That's how I came into it.
And so I'm hoping that that's what they're getting. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that, right? Now, Aseer, Dr. Aleem,
That's right.
man,
Hakeem Bey,
I'm a Hakeem Bey,
Jose
you know,
Pimentel Bey.
come, oh yeah, Jose Pimentel Bey, come on, Aseer, yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Shouts to RV Bay Publications.
Always shout to, you
Yeah.
know, shout to all of
Mm-hmm.
the Moors that's been out here striving to clear up a lot of the confusion and strive not to contribute to the the backbiting that goes into, you know, having an opinion. You know what I mean? Like uh, a lot of different thoughts and ideologies are at times and should be put under scrutiny, but at the same time, you get to a point where it stops being about scrutiny of ethic or information, and then it becomes more about, well, once I can't get what I want in terms of defaming that, let me go to the individual. And unfortunately, sometimes people don't know how to respect one group without disrespecting another. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, that's uncivilized. Like, just because I may not be a part of your nation doesn't necessarily give me the right to disrespect it. You know what I'm saying? Or even worse, strive to convert you out of it. One thing I don't think people understand about Moors, whether they're Moors or Moorish Americans, whether they're MUUR Moors or MAUR Moors or MOOR Moors or MOHR Moors, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different ways of describing the nuances between the overall nation or nations within what we consider the empire. You know what I mean? And just because you may be of a different tribe or consider yourself of a different nation doesn't mean that we all are still not supposed to be functioning under the divine creed, you know, which is when any of us in the Asiatic nation see one of our brothers, we don't forsake them for strangers. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, that becomes the measuring stick, you know what I mean, when it comes to who's really in it for the upliftment of our people or who's in it more for the self-aggrandizement that goes with looking like you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
unfortunately, whatever you are, like more science or understanding yourself as a more on earth, you have a very different perspective from how most, if not all, other groups on the planet exist. In the sense that we're the only people who are physically born in a place, and then once we get knowledge and have lived in this place all our lives, and then once we get a certain understanding of it, people will then who look like us then want to put us outside of that understanding based upon our ideology or the type of science that we've chosen to accept as a viable lifestyle option. You know what I'm saying? So a lot
sir.
of people
Sir.
want to castigate
Mm-hmm.
and put us in a bubble
Yes.
and then want to use words and individuals or circumstances that have happened maybe hundreds of years before we even was thought of, you know what I mean,
Right.
to then hold us accountable in this modern day and time. And so although we may be descendants of those responsible, none of us in our lifetime, right, have ever been forcibly enslaved as prisoners of war openly. You know what I'm saying? So
Elaborate to say it
meaning
would elaborate.
like
Yeah.
none of us like
Some you got some people that's been sitting in the back of the classroom for some time, and they might not really get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Go
I
ahead,
got you.
elaborate on that. Okay.
Meaning that
Respect though.
no, Islam.
Islam.
Meaning that a lot of us might not. We weren't here for the bulwark of what they call the transatlantic slave trade, right? Let's just use that as an example.
Okay.
None of us was alive when that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Yet we're maybe let's say my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great great grandmother, and then let's say my great 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 grandmother. So we're technically, let's say, 5 centuries away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In the
Yes.
context that, like, you know, people was hunting you down in the street like that. Like, it's taking a different complexion today. You see what I'm saying? With the criminality jacket that they put on melanated people in the country, you know what I'm saying? Make us equate so-called what they'll consider black culture as a innately criminal behavior. You know what I'm saying? But that's not really true. That's all propaganda, and that all started that really started in the late 70s. You know what I'm saying? So prior to that, the family, the community, these things were really important. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't just you just couldn't come out just like trying to just like disrespect somebody based upon like what they believe. Like, that was never something that we as melanated people did. Even like when you was a little kid, like people grew up in my generation who had parents that were still together. Our
Our
generation,
generation. Yeah.
right? Our generation.
Yeah.
They remember, like, your mother might be going to church, but your father never went. You know what I'm saying? That didn't mean that your father wasn't spiritual in some way. It's just that he had a different understanding, you see what I'm saying, about that type of stuff than the mother did. You see what I'm saying? The mother wants to bring you into something that she feels is going to make you socially acceptable and shit like that. Your father's there to let you know that you can't depend on society to define you. You see what I'm saying? So naturally, the father had to get out the crib so the mothers could send more people to church. You see what I'm saying? And break them down mentally and make them more presentable for society to turn out and do what they want to do to them. You see what I'm saying? So having knowledge itself, or more science, or whatever it is that's outside of the norm that you ascribe to, that gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of history as a man, as a woman, right? That's supposed to be a good thing for you. You know what I'm saying? Whether I agree with it or not. You see what I'm saying? So long as you're not using it to enslave me or enslave someone else or whatever on a negative tip with that, so long as somebody is benefiting and spiritually getting something out of their participation, then we should be applauding that, because that same person might not have that experience. You see what I'm saying? That same person might find themselves in circumstances where, you know, they could have been doing something worse. So we should applaud anybody that chooses the book over the gun. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge over the ignorance. You dig? It's just when people want to use that as a means of lording over people, or strive to use it as a means to weaponize the information, so that way their group or their clique or their tribe or whatever you want to be is like, oh well, we better than you because of this. That's maladapted to civilization. That's now you engaging your lower self because your ego feel threatened about whatever. Like, people could say whatever they want to say about morals, more science, whatever. You're going to be held accountable for what it is that you said about people that wasn't doing the things that you said they was doing, regardless to whether I agree with it or not. So I don't always feel the need to feel like the defense of the gospel always has to come through the mouth. Most of the defense of the gospel that we do will come through the actions. You see what I'm saying? How we handle certain things, what we chose not to engage in. Sometimes indifference and ignoring something that's not on your level is actually more suitable than engaging that. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is you wind up decrying yourself into a subservient position by feeling like you have to defend certain, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever your position is. And if it's really about information and the free exchange of that, then why does it have to turn into some sort of competition or contest? You see what I'm saying? About who know what, who know more, and this, that's, and that. Like, for all of that, we might as well be battle rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. That's what it seemed like. I don't know. It's like, to me, it trips me out because, you know, we don't really be busting no shots at nobody for real. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah,
real.
of course.
We really don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the you know, that the anger is always, you know, the Moors,
Yeah, because it's always somebody saying, pointing at what the Moors doing, what the Moors did, what the Moors is. But at the same time, they're saying the Moors is not this, the Moors is not that. You see what I'm saying? So at one point you pointing saying I'm the problem with everything, and the other side you saying that everything that isn't a problem is not what I say. It's like it's always the reverse. Like I can't be both. You can't be the subject and the object at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So if it's about the Moors, oh well, you know, you hear all of these fantasies and all of these stories. Oh, the Moors stole, the Moors did this, the Moors did that, the Moors did this. But it's like half the people talking this shit, they never even knew what Moors was until the internet, or until somebody told them, oh well, don't deal with that because of this and that, and then they follow that angle of information. But man knows not from being told. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
I can speak on things like, let's say, the Nation of Gods or Earth, for instance, as using as an example of a different tribe or ideology, which is really kind of similar or the same because they all come from the same tree. I could speak on that because I was in that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can speak on things that I was involved in and that benefited me enough to help me see the commonality in all of these indigenous ideologies that our people created for us. You know what I'm saying? Now, whoever came in later and started throwing they, you know, how they do and infiltrate and start to switch up shit.
Yeah, that's, I didn't mean to cut you off, Aseer, but look, you know, people are these nut trying to be, I don't want to use no crazy words, but these nuts, they keep saying that about us, like we just came in. Like,
Yeah,
what?
like, yeah, like we just got here. Like we wasn't here first.
Are you really doing the work? Are you really doing the work? Or you just sitting around watching videos all day long, eating popcorn and pork chops?
I'm saying, like, so
I mean, if you go ahead. So my bad.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. It's like we came from the era, because we also like Gen X, right? So in that, we came from the era that everything had to be done. If you wanted something done, you had to do it yourself. We didn't have the aspect of luxury to just, you know what I'm saying? Just rest on our laurels and get shit. You know what I mean? We couldn't just like buy a bunch of likes and buy a bunch of followers. Like, people had to like you in the real world. You know what I mean? You had to be liked in the real world. You had to have friends or connections of people in the real world. You know what I mean? People who you could look in and press palms with, shit like that. And now in this bubble that they created for people to exist in, they feel like that is the real life. And that's the transition from you know, the inverse to the obverse. And so you have people who view everything from a combative perspective, regardless of what it is. So whether it's information, whether it's intimacy, they just apply that to everything. You dig? And more science is such that the Moors aren't exempt from those type of ego traps either, because more science or understanding Moors, yourself as a Moor when you get to that understanding, it's going to either bring out the best of what you already was or the worst of what you already was. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now you just got more ammunition as to what your agenda is, and that's what separates us from everybody else, in the sense that we're the ones that have been told that we've been everything other than this. And then once we settle on this, now everybody that was cool with us being everything else don't want us to be this. So obviously there must be something to this. You see what I'm saying? Because prior to me being with this, when I was everything else was all good. And when I look at, well, what's the key determining factor which separates this from all the other stuff that we was in? It was like, oh, it's the nationality. It's the idea of having a
that's
language.
what I want to touch on right there, brother. Hit that nationality for me, brother.
It's the nationality.
Excuse me. A lot of people don't understand. I'm sorry, Aseer. Excuse me, I'm gonna cut you off. But this is one of the points I wanted to make for this video, because I know I asked Aseer to please elaborate on how important and why is it important for you to claim your nationality. Now I know a lot of us, we've been through this already, but we got a lot of youngins, man, out here that they in a twilight zone, bro. They don't know what's going on. So they're looking at us as their role models to give them something, and not a damn video game all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Give them some knowledge. Give them some,
Nationality wise,
but national, go ahead. Say my bad. Go ahead.
Knowledge to it, like, okay, so it's the nationality, but it's what the nationality is ascribed to. It's the fact that the term "more" in its essence is sonically taking you out of the modern time frame that they put you in. You dig what I'm saying? So if I'm saying I'm a Moorish American, or of the Moorish Empire, a Moroccan descendant of the ancient Moroccan born American, I'm taking myself out of the modern construct time frame that they've locked people that look like us in, to ascribe to something that they can anchor into this new epoch, in which most of these countries that exist in this world today came into existence like maybe 80 years ago, if not 50 years ago. So once I say I'm Moorish American or Moorish Empire, whatever, I'm now out. I've taken myself outside of the base understanding as to what melanated people are in this country. And I'm also taking it outside of the context of just a religious, you see what I'm saying, or secular situation. It's a combination of both. It's a divine and a national understanding coming together that then blossoms in the individual, which then enhances the temple, the true temple, in which my Moorish science is developed, which is my arm, leg, arm, head. You see what I'm saying? Which then allows me to attribute those things that have ancestrally have always been associated with me. So now I am now attracting all of the old stuff that you made me believe or made me forget that was mine. And now it starts to remanifest itself. But now I have the understanding and the wherewithal to appreciate it in the context of it, in a modern context, but with an ancient purview of it. So I can accept, so I can look again at let's say a brother with a flat top, right? And see, okay, I remember when I had a flat top, when flat tops came out, but then scaling it back to know that that was also a instinctive way for us to start wearing feathers again. You see what I'm saying? Because around that time, that's when a lot of groups was out here with feathers. X-Clan and Lakim Shabbat, King Son,
X-Clan,
Brand
Tribe
New,
Called Quest,
Tribe Called Quest, Two Kings in a Cipher,
Brand Nubians.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of these ones with it, like Kane, You know what I'm saying? Like we was really
Rakim.
You understand? Like we
yeah,
were really that era was very significant because it was still an era of creativity, and you had different types of manifestations of that consciousness. You had people like Paris, you know what I mean, from LA, who was like kind of like a more militant Ice Cube, straight Panther, you know what I'm saying? But his shit used to slap. But then you would also have people out here, like I said, who would also have that Public Enemy or something like that. So there was always an inspiration in that, and then being able to then see, oh, okay, so this was us going back into the subconsciously. But remember, the enemy already knows. So imagine now the enemy seeing this whole generation of kids in flat tops, knowing that it's only been maybe 80, 90 years since you got them out the fezzes. Now they doing what the ancient ones used to do in Nubia. They would carve their hair into the crown. Like a lot of these crowns that we see the ancient Egyptian,
I never thought of it like that. That's wild.
Amenopis. When you look at Menhotep, Amenopis, when you see like the B crown or the red crown, like those crowns came later. The actual physical crowns came later. That was their hair. They used to mold their hair into these geometric shapes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And that was the crown. So once that was now taken out of vogue, the people who wanted to be like them, who couldn't grow their hair like that, started to make physical crowns that looked like that. You understand? And then once the nuclear warship went down out there in places like that are now deserts and shit, like in what they call Egypt over there, they all lost their hair. So they couldn't wear their hair like that anymore. So that's why they all started wearing wigs and all that shit. You see what I'm saying? But
that's why they started wearing wigs.
Yeah, because of the nuclear fallout and the shit that was happening out there, and it was hard for them to grow it. That's why the Egyptians in the Upper Kingdom, you know what I'm saying, their hairstyle was different than those in Nubia. Because in Nubia, they were still shaping their hair in the aspects of the crown. That's why you knew that they were older. However, we go by what the white anthropologists, right, who had nothing to do with that, came from, and now because we done seen the later shit, we think that is how it was. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In actuality, the more you dig, the more you start to find out, no, we've been doing this to our hair as extensions of our royal crown and shit from time immemorial. To the point, like I said, people started creating hats and started creating different types of things to mirror what we naturally could do. So that's when I realized, like, everything that they do is trying to create a physical representation of what we naturally are. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So when you look at the hand of Fatima, right? People say, well, it don't look like a hand, it look like a lotus. No, it's actually a hand, but it's a hand like this. You see? Because this is how the ancient ones used to do the supplications. You see what I'm saying? And in that, it looks like a lotus, right? So when you look at the hand of Fatima, though, and then
you got me sitting over here doing that,
right? You look at the hand of Fatima, that's actually a symbol, also similar to the melanocyte.
Said, pause, brother. Something happened. Hey, man, I said you gonna come back in, y'all. Give me a second. We're gonna come back in. Something happened. You already know when we start talking, something going. You already know, man. Especially me. Goodness gracious, Mr. Big Mouth. Sick Grove came through. That's what's up, man. D Calico was here for a minute. PNF was here. I don't know what happened. I think it's I don't know what happened. Why are you sure? Okay, here he come. Here he come. Go ahead, brother. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Aseer.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, brother. Yeah. We
It's
already know. We already know, man. Go ahead. Nationality, brother. Go ahead. Start breaking it down for us. To get these people to understand why it's so important to proclaim your nationality. Now, really, it's really important now.
It is.
Go
And
ahead, brother.
because it's a way to actively stand up and say, because when you say what you are, you're also saying what you're not. You know what I'm saying? Without having to say that. Unless something comes up in your character that people want to question in that regard. But so long as you copacetic on that level, when you declare what you are, you're also saying that you're not what they say. So now the burden of proof is on them to prove that you are the opposite, which is why they always want to associate Moors with mundane bullshit like travel documents, and they want to reduce it down to something that they can identify it and then discard it, or make you feel like because you're Moorish American that you're automatically down with adverse and houses and all of the stuff that you see certain Moors or people who claim to be Moors do. But yet and still, you know, it doesn't mean that that's so. It just means that that's another thing that they can strive to use to make you disenfranchised with choices that you've made, and make you doubt the clarity that you have received. So this way you can go back into one of their dismal crypts with them and speculate and do all of the stuff that they do to put you back on the hamster wheel. Whereas when you become more, or you understand elements of that from the bottom up and then from the top down, you have more of an appreciation of these other groups and the struggles of these other things, because you see the through line between it all. All of these other groups came after the fall of the stronghold at Granada. You know what I'm saying? Wherever Granada had dominions at, which was all over the world. So humanity itself fell. You understand what I'm saying? To the bottom of the dismal crypt, into the bottomless pit. And from that rise, there was a huge bastion of us striving from generation to generation to preserve what was left, because this not only was the fall of us as the universal power or custodians for everything, it also resulted in the creation and the mongrelization of our people, and the dispersion and the subsequent years of war that we consistently to this day have been dealing with in one form or the other. We're the only people on the planet who allegedly don't have a nationality. So that alone
Talk about it. Come on.
Puts us in a different position more than any other people on the planet. Because
And the bad part about it is people don't even, excuse me, a bad part about it is people don't even know this, man. And then when you try to talk to them about it, they just not get, they just don't they think I'm crazy.
Yeah,
go ahead, brother.
no,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I learned that the same people saying that is the same people. All these people got affairs in the closet. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these people been out here speaking against stuff that they know is actually true about the Moorish Empire, Moorish people, both male and female. And yet they still want to go along with the get along gang to be able to keep the order out of chaos pageantry going, you know.
Right.
And that always serves to delay the overall awakening, but it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? The more you the more you create circumstances where you keep, all right, the more you go in circumstances where you're trying to get people to go against something, the more they want to see why you want them to do that. Look at what's happening with Trump. Like the more you indict him, the more you tell people not to rock with him, the more you try to lock people up from rocking with him, everybody's gonna rock with him because the American way is to support the underdog. The American people understand that they really on their own. The American people know that the Washington, D.C. only has jurisdiction 10 miles square out of Washington, D.C. Therefore, it's a separate entity altogether that has no jurisdiction over anything it doesn't create. And even when it creates something, it still has to be subordinate to the individual because that's how the republic was established. So yeah, we Moors, we can have our own form of government and all of that. That's great. However, being Moors, we are afforded a certain understanding when it comes to government in any government that we interact with. So here in America, it just so happens that we're guaranteed a Republican form of government, and a Republican form of government is the individual over the government. See what I'm saying? The democracy is the majority, meaning the government over the people, and that is maladapted. However, when you have bred so-called original people through racial oppression, through psyops, through real organized
social engineering,
like look at the Panthers. All of the great work that the Black Panthers did, right? Because there were real brothers down with it. There was real brothers and sisters, real hardcore, real people really down for the whole thing. However, they were infiltrated by people who they could use to spotlight, right, and detract from the real people was doing. So by the time the real people turn around and realize, like, oh, 80% of these niggas that's in this is not even real, they get taken out. You see what I'm saying? And what happened? The ones who was real, they get locked out. They gotta go into exile. They gotta they all get killed, right? And then the ones that was down with it, they wind up all going to Harvard, all going to Yale, right? And then they wind up putting their children in the same circumstance, in the same Ivy League circumstance or whatever. And then you wind up with a chick like Fannie Willis. You see what I'm saying?
Because we all know who those schools are owned by, like Spelman College. Like, do you guys know who owns what is named? Spelman College is named after someone. Do you guys know who that is?
Exactly. You look up who Miss Spelman is. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I know who Miss Spelman is. Do the knowledge on that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
And that's the circumstance that happens. They create these illicit. Good job, son. They make these illicit contracts and then put they dummy proxy people, crash dummies, to then push through their agenda. So it always look like Black people are supporting what these people doing. When the Black people that are supporting them doing all of this crazy shit, they not even considered. We wouldn't even look at them as that. Outside of us being Moors and understanding Negro, Black, and color shit, just being on a colloquialisms tip, you could tell Colin Powell is not for the people. Oprah Winfrey not for the people. Beyonce not for the people. Like, we watched Beyonce transition into a white woman. We don't watch Beyonce transition into Christian, into Kylie Jenner. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
bro, can I say something real quick? Yeah. I'm sorry, man. But you just touching on so many things, man. But look, 50. You got all this movie control.
Yeah.
But all you want to talk about is drugs, guns, killing, selling dope. Da, 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 da. Bro, you ain't got nothing else to talk about. You ain't
No,
nothing,
but
you don't have nothing else to talk about. It's crazy.
Right,
Go ahead.
but you
I'm
gotta
sorry.
understand, God. You gotta also understand too, God. Water find its own level. You know what I'm saying? And his level of mentality is only the reptilian brain. This nigga can't look beyond the crack years that he was selling, the shit that he did when he was, and that his moms. You know what I'm saying? Like they murdered his moms in this. He's psychologically broken. That's what we don't get, because black people say, oh, well, he got money and that's the end all to be all. But this person is obviously psychologically still dealing with a lot of trauma, because there are no redemptive characters in any of his shows. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that they're not entertaining. It doesn't mean that they're not thing, but there's no balance. You see what I'm saying? The only good character in all of the Power shows, if you really think about it,
We go off on Power. Come
if
on,
you look
come
at
on, Steve.
Power, if you look at Force, all of the shows this brother has done,
Yeah.
there was
Everything.
only one positive character that had no guile, no malice, only had love. Who was that?
I got
For people
you.
that watched it.
I got you. You ready? You asking the chat? You asking me?
I'm asking the chat. You, anybody? Who y'all think
ready?
character that
You
was?
ready? You ready?
Yeah.
The daughter.
That's right. That's right. See? That's how you know.
The daughter.
The daughter. The daughter. She was the only one out of all of those characters who had a good heart. And what did they do to her? They killed her. You understand?
Off top.
Because they always trying to let you know that this is all bait. Remember, this dude 50 was obsessed with the Robert Greene book. He was obsessed with it. So he wrote his own version of the same book. Remember 50 Laws of Power?
Oh, yeah.
Remember he came out with
he
that?
added 2 more law.
He had like 3 more. Like 3 more from 28. But again, he was obsessed with that shit. Because remember, this is somebody who navigated the perils of the dope game to such a degree that his mother was killed behind that shit, bro. There's not going to be much of a there's not going to be a catharsis for him in that regard, because that part of him is gone. It was taken from him. You dig? And then they tried to kill him on top of that. So even though I feel the same way, I also understand that, again, man, you could give a book to a brother, but you can't make him think. You know what I mean? Like you could. People are only going to deal with it at the level of mentality that they're at. So he don't really see any redemptive value in black people. You understand? He don't see that. In these TV shows that we're watching on that, there is none of that. They don't see that in us. Why? Because the age of propaganda that we're in, we're getting closer to the wind up. So they need as many of us broken apart as possible. So the recurring theme on that show of the mother striving to kill the father of the son that don't know that that's his father, and then the mother setting it up to do that. You understand? You got to also look at some of the people playing these roles, like Rock. Everybody been trying to, like, now that they're getting closer to the end of the show, I'm seeing them trying to market different stars from the show in different capacities and trying to market them into other black spaces. The problem, though, is like she married to a white man. She done had this white man baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like she don't really, they don't really deal with melanated people like that. They only act like that. Like Will Smith only act like a man in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Any other time, he's a broken man, because the whole structure of the entertainment industry is based on the exploitive nature of the propagandized ego. And so they want to constantly put us in positions to remark ourselves as that. And then the minute we start going into something that takes us out of the modern understanding of who we are, it's a problem. Like with Denzel playing Hannibal. Like that's a problem for them. You
Man,
understand?
they raised, and they also got mad when Idris Elba played in Thor.
Yeah, when he played Heimdall.
Yeah,
Right.
they went crazy. They making comments about why they got, you know, where they was going. They didn't say it, but they was
they didn't really want to get into
saying
it.
it, like how y'all got him playing, and then y'all
And to
really
a
don't
certain
understand.
degree, but I mean, again, to a certain degree, based upon how modern history is taught to people, that makes sense to them. Because for the past 30, since the Rockefeller education system started, they've been seeing white people as Vikings. You see what I'm saying? So you could tell them about the ancient Grimaldi people that was out there, the Kennewick man, the Cheddar man, the ancient so-called Europeans, excuse me, West Asians that was out there, the ancient Scythians, the ancient Thracians, right? But they're gonna assume that all of those people look like the people that's there today because of the education system that they've been given through the Rockefeller Foundation that changed everybody's education system around the world. It wasn't just here. This nigga paid for everybody to be miseducated. You understand? So that way to help with the mass reconstruction of world history into this hodgepodge we are now, where everybody can have a nationality, but people that look like us. And then when we say that we're born here on the shores, on the soil of America, and that we're a Compton or indigenous or whatever, but if I say then I'm a Moor, then somehow or another I'm talking about Spain. When I got maps older than the country Spain today.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? That's weird to say that it's Spain right over here.
Man.
So this is what I'm saying. It's all based on your need to be right more than your need to be correct. You know what I'm saying? And people would rather believe that we're spinning all of these yarns or trying to revisionize history because they're doing a form of transference. That's what they're doing. So they're doing that. So because that's whack, they want to look like they're not doing that. So they want to reverse it and say that, no, we're doing that. Like what the Democrats is doing with the whole defending democracy shit. Like they hate democracy. Actually, no, they love democracy. They hate the republic. Because republic, you can't just run over everybody. The individual rights is running. But because they didn't convince Negroes to believe that the American Republic is some sort of socialist democracy, they're done. And all communism and socialism and all that shit all of that is really just a poison pill that you put into a society when you want to destroy it. That's all it is.
Right.
Moors weren't capitalists. Moors weren't communists. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Communism was introduced into the so-called black community through the Black Panthers.
Yes.
Because a lot of those Panthers had been raised up reading Mao Zedong, the Red Book, and all of this bullshit that they was, excuse my language, that they was getting from the CIA directors that was dealing with them. Why? Because Mao Zedong was a Jesuit, number one. He was installed over there and killed all of them people who may or may not have been a female to male transformer. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother story. But that was introduced to the so-called black community. But the thing was, original people, melanated people, we ain't never had no problem with making money. We didn't never had no problem having money. We ain't never had no problem sharing money with one another. We don't like being broke.
People don't even know that we had a military over here, man.
We had militaries.
They don't even understand. We had a
wells.
Moroccan. We had a military.
They be talking about Tulsa and all of that, but they don't never talk to you about the Tulsa oil wells. They never talk to you about all of the oil fields that Rockefeller, all those 150 oil wells and oil rigs that Rockefeller swooped up in one day with the help of the United States military, taking it from all the original people. We was producing 30,000 barrels a day of oil a day. We like little shit, like watermelon. Like the reason why they wanted to dissuade us and try to lampoon us and mock us with watermelon was because original people of the original Chickamauga confederacies and all of that had an international trade of watermelons. This how watermelons wound up in China and in Japan, where they then crossbred the watermelon and created another thing, another version of the watermelon, but it's purple. It's called a moon melon, I think. They still got them out there to this day. How did oranges wind up in the court in Italy when oranges is indigenous to Andalusia, i.e. Florida? Because we brought it there. How was they finding cocaine in the mummies and coffee from the mummies and over there, all the way over there in what they call Egypt today? Because we were shipping it over there. Because all of the shipping lines and shit that they use today was all of the lines that we established during the Barbary power, when we were the Barbary powers.
Come on, talk about this. Come on, bro.
Barbary powers is all of us in the imperial and the empire together trying to preserve what was left. The Barbary states were the individual satellites that were connected that had their own statehood agenda amongst the powers. You see what I'm saying? So the way we would do shit was we would get one European on the yoke, West Asian on the yoke, because there is no Europe. We would get one of them one of them people on the yoke and say, well, the Bay of Algiers over here, he expect 50,000 pounds of gold, you know what I mean? Every month, every year, whatever. Then the day of Tripoli will come and say, well, if you're paying him 50, you're gonna have to give me 60. Then the what you call it, the L of Cordoba come and be like, yeah, but I'm the one put them on, so you got to give me 70. You see what I'm saying? So it got to the point where these people, there's like, okay, you can't pay, then you're gonna have to pay in restitution like this. And then this is how the term blackmail started. Because these Moors, the more that they start, the less they doing the knowledge to the greater humanities, the greater insights of the mind and the spirit. And the more they got to deal with day to day, okay, we got to stop these niggas from invading. We got to stop these dudes from here. We got to push forth to here. Then you start to go from the higher dimension and become now down to the third, in which now you down here with everybody else. And now all of these lofty things that you could do and see and all of that, that's now almost a memory. Because you so bogged down in doing this day-to-day dredge, trying to keep the empire together. Then you got these dirty Moors over here importing Circassians illegally and then mating with them. You see what I'm saying? And then using them as proxy soldiers to then come fight the rest of us. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It just gets to the point where we wind up in a position where it's like, you know what? Then they wind up when we really start waning, they start putting kill orders on anybody wearing feathers or turban or feathers.
Even if you knew Arabic, if you knew how to speak ancient Arabic,
Latin,
if you knew how to speak Latin, they knock you off. You
up out of here. They getting you up out of here. They cutting your head off, putting it on a pipe, taking your stuff, right? And then giving it to some Circassian that just came out the hole who don't even know nothing. He only know what he been programmed to know. And that is, you're supposed to be his slave now. You see what I'm saying? And now you know better, know history and all of that. You done started here. You done fortified what you could here. Then go over there to help define and help them what they doing. Then by the time you come back over here, it's a whole nother government. And now you the enemy of that, right? Like in the Star Wars when they did the Jedi Order 66. All the Jedis was chilling and doing that, and then they just hit it, and then the next thing you know, they become the enemy, and they get hunted down and killed. This is what happened to us here. That's what the Indian Wars was about. That's what the the Barbary Wars and all that shit was about.
Listen up, y'all. Listen up. Go ahead, say. Listen up, y'all. This is when it all
starts. This is when it starts to fall after 1492, after the millennial reign. After the 1,000 years, we cleaned up the entire realm and happened to be ruling in the time that they refer to as the Dark Ages. That was also the fall of Rome, right? There ain't no Rome yet. And the time that supposedly Yeshua came back on earth with the heavenly host and established a paradise on earth that allegedly lasted 1,000 years. But then when you read about the history of the Moorish Empire, You read about the Muslims, the Muslims, the Hebrews, the Persians, everybody living together under peace. So much so they all calling God by the same name. Also, they expanding not just horticulture, agriculture, technology, etheric buildings. This is when we go from a classical period of pyramids and step pyramids and mounds and ziggurats and shit, and then we start transitioning into these giant so-called Tartarian cathedrals and all this other stuff we start seeing all over the world, built with the somatic technologies and all that shit.
Somatic technology.
Meaning we was using sound, we were using bells, we was using like
frequency, like a frequency, like
that to us today would seem like magic. But Arthur C. Clarke, for instance, said that magic, that high science is such that it is perceived as magic by lower societies with lower technology. So it's the same thing. So we're dealing with learning how to create. And at this time, remember, ether is an element that we're dealing with every day. It wasn't until the Reconstruction shit that ether just kind of like was just taken out of the modern lexicon, in which we stopped learning how to interact with it and use it for benefit, because they want to go into fossil fuels and all of the type of stuff to keep shit downstairs. So those of us, so when you read all of these ancient patents and stuff that's in the Library of Congress, and all of these so-called black inventors who have all of these patents between like the 1600s and the 18 or 1900s, those is all Moors. That's all Moorish technology that was already put and protected in the Library of Alexandria.
Y'all hear this,
which is Alexandria, Virginia.
I'm sorry to say it, but I need y'all to understand. Listen to what Islam. Listen to this. Listen to what Aseer is talking about, and then you do the knowledge. Go ahead, Aseer.
They got us. That's part of the reason why they created the whole situation. Make us forget the etheric technology, burn up tell us that they burned up the Library of Alexandria in so-called Egypt over there. But remember, that place didn't become Egypt over there until after the 50s. So that means then Alexandria happens to be over here. This is just in Virginia. Where's the Library of Congress? Right there. So that's the real shit. They got stuff in there that's so old that they don't even have the translators to do that. You see? So all of this stuff was already here. We was already using it. We was already on it. It's just that the fall was really that. And so once the last stronghold was gone, which is Alhambra or Granada, or let's say the Alhambra, which means the red.
Yes.
That's when they were able to slow down the earth vibration, put everybody in the 1,000-year trick bag, take 1,000 years from us, add 1,000 years to them, right? Then start going around, and then that ushers in about 450 years of intermittent conflict. CM Bay, peace be upon him, says about 394 years, but
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Islam. And they would do that, but that ushered in that whole era of conflict. And from there, we fractured even more. So it just, like I said, it just got to a point where those of us that was going to be that, the Moorish thing actually just went dormant. But what happened? During all of this time, this is how the prophet said, I'm going to make the devil tell the truth. Make the European tell you the truth. From the time that we fell to now, them niggas over there would throw the same ritual party where they would dress up like us and reinvigorate, right? Where they dress up like us as Moors and all of that and reenact the fall and everything happened. But the shit they reenacted happened over here. The stuff that was already over there was from the older kingdom, right? Excuse me, it was from the newer kingdom that they had established, or that we helped establish in tandem. Because Granada was the dominion, that was a stronghold. But you had Granada here, wherever you was at. Just like if you have an embassy, your empire expands to whatever the dominion that you have. That's why we dealt in empires, kingdoms, and dominions, as opposed to countries, nations, and states. The countries, nations, and states came out of the breakup of our empires, kingdoms, and dominions. Which is why we're so mixed up in everything now, because some of us was actually at war with each other. Because we didn't fall to no Caucasian people. We felt the people that looked just like us that was using Caucasian people as backup, as what they call dogs of war. There's a book you can get called Dogs of War. And it talks all about how they used different types of bestial humans and animals to help disrupt us and get us out from these dominions. And thus, some of us started to become conversos and converted to other stuff. You see? But Moors weren't about converting people, not the original ones. No. Because we knew that we was only using this modern day version of Islam to couch the real sciences of what we was bringing back to the world at the fall when we shut Rome and all of that down. Because it wasn't just Islam. It's Islam, Law and Master, that's the umbrella. But under that, you had Muslims, you had Turks, you had Hebrews, you had Christians, Nazarenes, you had so-called Muslims, right? You had Persians. Right. All of these were considered part of the Moorish Empire. These was all Moors working together to do what they needed to do. The problem, like I said, is that we started to fall, became more, lost our noble natures, and we start to participate more in the errant folly of the pale nations, and we've been doing that ever since. Until
the errant folly of the pale nations,
Islam. And that don't mean white nations. That just means all of those nations that paled in comparison to the grandeur and the majesty that our people brought to this realm, and still do. You did, and they still are revered. We're still revered for it when we're in our proper person. That's why I urge people to be in it, because it takes you. You will see the physical change in people when they see you. I've met people from all over the world, both here and traveling there, like this. And when they say this, that, and that, and I'm like, cool. But they be doing the knowledge. But yeah, well, are you Muslim? Are you this? Well, are you kind of this? Because again, we Moors, we take the best part. Like you said, eat the meat, spit out the bones. We don't worry about the poor part. Yeah. We preserve the best part for ourselves, like everybody's supposed to do.
Right. So yeah. Yeah, man. You know, also I wanted to let people know about our American Moroccan army that we once had.
They went through phases.
You know,
one of them, one phase.
Pretty powerful. Get some water, Aseer. Come on, man. Get yourself together. Yeah, get some water. We been talking, man. We Moors around here. Like this the first time I ever actually used StreamYard and had an interview. That's why I love this brother so much, man. Because, you know, we support each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to do. We have to support one another.
Word.
We have to do that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just appreciate this brother did it, you know, because I've noticed that the YouTube world, everything is really based on how many subscribers you have.
Exactly.
And if you don't have these X amount of subscribers, then you're not worth the scholarship. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that, because there's a lot of brothers out here that know stuff that don't even have channels.
Exactly.
There's brothers out here that been doing the knowledge, and they don't even own no social medias.
Exactly.
So you can't really judge somebody by that. And then you got the shadow banding, and because man, I'm gonna tell you one thing I noticed is there. every like when I put up, because I only put up high frequency, divine information, Moorish information, right? But people don't like to hear that. Like they want to hear about the kid that just got shot, the new rapper that just got shot for spitting on somebody's grave. They rather hear that. I don't understand it, man. It's just it bugs me out.
Yeah, but like I said, water find its own
Yeah.
level, man. And the shadow ban, like they've had a shadow ban on my page since 2008. So I'm supposed to have way more numbers than I do. However, I never depended on those numbers to do what I've been doing. So, whether they're going to do it like this, I'm going to find another way. So within that, there's more people.
So I respect him for that. I ain't to cut you off, your wisdom, God, but I gotta say it. I respect Aseer for that. I love you for that, man, because
Thank you,
I don't have 9 million subscribers.
Yeah.
I reached out to the brother, and the brother said, I got you.
Yeah.
This is what we got. This is what we need to be doing, man. We
like
need to start helping
I've
each
had
other.
offers to go on like so-called bigger platforms and shit like that, but I would say, however, I like the underground mainstream aspect of the information, because once you start dealing with these, see, what happened was we destroyed Hollywood. We, the regular people, just on YouTube alone, let's say, and this for anybody, any channel.
Yeah.
It's more entertaining watching regular people than it is these fake actor niggas, because all of the actors wound up becoming paid propagandists for whatever agenda is going on there. And now that we all know that they are down with death cults and the essays and the rapes and all that, like we can't openly support that. You don't know who's who with that, because you've been hearing these rumors for so long. A rumor and a rumor that don't die. So because that, you might not want to sit there and listen, watch a Jay-Z interview. It might be more fulfilling to watch somebody talk about why they don't watch Jay-Z interviews. You see what I'm saying? And this is what's happened. So now they got to use people like Cat Williams and Monique and these people to talk this stuff we've been talking for the past 30 years. You see what I'm saying? In that venue. To then make regular people be like, oh, that's the shit I heard Aseer talk about. Now Cat talk about. Okay, it might. You see what I'm saying? Let me see what Cat say about it. So this way we can keep doing that. And we can keep these ones that's still involved with us on the main, while the original ones that they got this information from stay in the background. Like the other day, I just saw this thing with on Netflix with Darnell Rollins, Ashley Larry. And he had a whole bit on Umar Johnson. And I was like, wow, Umar made it. he made it. Like you part of the social zeitgeist.
Man, I be trying to be, you know me, man. I be trying to be, humble, man, and everything,
Yeah, but what I'm saying, he wanted that. That's what he wanted. More than opening a school or anything.
Yeah. That's what he wanted. He wasn't worried about no school. No.
That's what he wanted. The school is the vehicle to get the notoriety in the mainstream. That's what it's about. It's all a vehicle. None of these dudes really want to be in the hood doing all this type of shit or whatever. You know, I used to teach in the after school programs in New York, man. One of the hardest districts to teach any child anything. Yeah,
I'm quite
sure. I was, and you know what I'm saying? I'm doing after school. You for that, bro. I'm doing in school, teaching.
Thanks, man, for doing that. I'm gonna cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But salute to you for doing that.
And all of that, and I can only imagine. As much as I would like to do that, I have the curriculum, the wherewithal, and all of that, but I can't do it all. So I'm not gonna go and ask people for money to do it if I don't have the ability to physically sit there day to day and do it myself. For as much publicity as he got for it, he could have been done it. But again,
he got all the money. He got the money. It's it.
Right.
He
But
got the
again,
money,
I'm
and
not
he
even.
do.
But at the same time, I'm not trying to even impugn him for whatever he doing because I don't know that man personally. But I was there
Right.
watching his rise. Like I was there in Harlem, and you know what I'm
Right.
saying. Like
Yeah.
I watched these dudes, Polite,
Right.
Umar,
Right.
like this one. I watched them create these niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
create them, literally bring them out and be like, boom, this is the new
Right.
one you're gonna deal with this month. And it
Right.
was all a lot of circumstances like that happened to get you away from the stuff that was actually trying to give you viable solutions to the lifestyle option that you've chosen. So most of the stuff, like I said, is propaganda. So because they can't be on that level, they got to bring them people to us. We brought the Hollywood elite down to us, where they watching us on YouTube more than they watching anybody else. Where my channel can get more burn. I get more numbers on my channel, my own one little channel, than a CNN or an NBC or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Then, like I said, okay, y'all want to shadow ban me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find another way out. I'm gonna set up my own app. So now I just put my information.
Yeah. I think it's in under. I think it's under this one. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, man. Get the app. A dot. A
Thank you,
dot.
bro. Thank you, bro.
A dot. Get the app.
So
Aseer
now I
got
could
all
just deal
kind
with
of
people direct.
gems in there, man. He got all kind of
Islam.
gems in there, man.
All of
Go
the
through
stuff they
there.
banned. Like every time it got to a point where every video that I was uploading, I was
Right.
getting, they was hitting me like, nah, you can't upload that, or this is going to be
Right.
taken down, or whatever. So it just got to the point, like, you know what? Let me just have my own joint, use YouTube as a satellite, and then start to slowly put all of my stuff on this platform that I know they can't think that I have more control of, and they don't. So this way now, y'all could do whatever y'all want. I still got another way out, and that's what I'm saying. When Allah closed a door, He opened a window. So
True, man.
instead of being discouraged, because I know some people who would, like, I used to do like counseling, and there would be more I would speak to, and they would, like, some of these guys had big pages, you know, and I would speak to some of them and counseling them, and they would be depressed, like how am I going to do it? Like, I'm making all my bread through this portal. Like, if I don't get enough likes, and this is what I'm thinking about doing this and doing that, and it's like I never wanted to be that type of person. I didn't want that for them either.
Exactly.
They've created a social engineering platform that we all participate in. Like, I remember when there was no cameras on the street.
Yeah.
And there was a big rebellion against that. And then somehow, what happened? They came out with the camera phone and shit like that. And now everybody's failing themselves. So there's an old Morris saying where they say luxury dulls the edge of husbandry. Husbandry is how you create your home, your family. You see what I'm saying? Your clan. And the more luxurious something becomes for you, the less attention you take to doing it. And that's how they've been able to dumb us down, by making shit allegedly. The more easy they make it for you, the worse it can be. You want sometimes things to take a certain degree of fortitude to push you through the thing that you don't feel like doing or wanting to do, because that is what allows you to test the measure of who you are as a man or a woman. But because they have trained women to be disloyal, you understand? They have trained them to be disloyal to such a degree that they're not even loyal to themselves. They've trained men to be so complacent and to be so, they've dejected men. The male, especially in any Western country specifically, they've dejected them to the point that men feel that they're not even going to have sex. They're not even going to be with women. They're just going to be asexual. They're not even going to be homosexual. They're not going to be any of that. They're just not going to be with anyone. Like, think about what it takes to bring a man, right, a red-blooded heterosexual man to that point, that means that they've broken the integral nature between man and woman down. And now we've seen the results of that in the form of the children, because now the government wants to come in and take everybody's child and then turn them into something that they can never recover from. Yes. And who is advocating them to do this? Women, right? And men. Okay. All for spite, all for guile, all to get back at this nigga for cheating on me, all for not staying with me, all because he didn't pay all my bills, all because she didn't tell me the truth about this or that. And all of that is manufactured. All of that is self-created and amplified by the chief instigator of this propaganda.
Come on.
And so there's no if you're still caught up in, oh, this nigga say he's an Indian or this nigga say he's a Moor, whatever, you're it's downstairs now. It's to the point where as a man, everybody done chose. It's if you over 18, right? I'm speaking to you. If you under 18, I'm not really speaking to you. Technically, if you 25 and under, technically I'm not speaking to you, because technically most men don't come into their right mind until they 25.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you 25 or older, you done already accepted who you are as an individual, as a man or whatever. You dig? So for you to be out here trying to challenge what somebody else is or says that they are, when it benefits you, when it doesn't benefit you in any other way other than maybe a clout situation or a grandstanding situation, then you part of the problem. Because I don't care what anybody is. I don't care what anybody say they are. Yeah. I don't care what you could get 50. You could get 50 dirty Moors. One clean one will wipe away everything them niggas have done. To the point you don't even think about it no more. And what I've noticed in this community is everybody that ever came out and said anything negative about the prophet, they all saw something happen to them. Everyone.
Yeah, y'all hear this? I ain't cutting you off. I'm sorry. Aseer, I'm sorry, brother. But you just, you going in so hard, man. Like, I need y'all to really listen to what Aseer is saying, man.
Everyone, yo. And that's not me saying, oh, we should worship Noble Ali. I do not worship Noble Ali or no man or no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. If I was to worship anything, inshallah, it would be the truth. It would be love. It would be peace, freedom, justice, and equality. You know what I mean? If I could say that. But even in that, I brought that up with the prophet to say that you don't have to acknowledge him, you know what I'm saying, as anything. Some people acknowledge him as a prophet. Some people acknowledge him as they turn him into a god. Some people turn him into a mystery god. Some people see him as an ancestor, you know what I mean? And in actuality, he may be all of those things or none of them. What matters is, what were you able to glean from the work that this man brought? And once it was brought into your life, did it make your life better or worse? For the most part, most people I know, that's Moors that came into it with knowledge of self or whatever, especially once they understand who and what the prophet was, it's been better. So I go by those numbers because I am of the opinion that there are more good people in the world, way more good than it is evil. It's just that the evil get more burned because it's easier to market. And controversy sells.
That's right.
So if I was to show you me painting, like I painted this picture, if I was to show me starting to just bring the canvas down and then paint the picture, right? I could have the camera on me the whole time as I'm painting it. And some people will sit there and watch me paint the whole thing from beginning to end. Okay. Some people would be like, you know what, I'm gonna come back and see where he at. You know what I mean? Okay. Some people would be like, you know what, I'm gonna see what it look like when it's done. Dig what I'm
So
saying?
y'all heard that, right? Y'all see the
So
brother Pink too. So
so within that,
yeah,
that
support,
shows
man,
you that
support.
everybody has their level of involvement. So if your level of involvement is up here and his is down here, based upon who they are as individuals, I can't expect them, right, to be on the same level because they're not. And the problem with the so-called melanated or conscious or black community is that they want us all to be on the same level, and we're not.
Right,
Because some of y'all are communists, some of
right,
y'all are misogynists,
right,
some of y'all hate men, some of
right.
y'all are predators, some of
Mm-hmm.
y'all are scammers. You see what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah.
So not everybody could be that. And then for the
Right.
bulwark of people that are good, that are looking for good experiences, you see what I'm saying? This is when your energy is then brought to the test. Are you able to see through this individual? You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
Allah might send you one good one and three dirty ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or three
Yeah.
dirty ones and one good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up for you to discern which one is that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the
That's right,
universe is
bro.
just providing you what you need to enhance and make yourself better.
That's right, brother. Thank you.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I urge you.
this is what I'm saying, man. Like a lot of this needless banter that goes on between Moors and the different sects and the different communities. Like I
Yeah,
don't.
it's a whole bunch of set tripping.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Like put it like look at all of the set tripping going on while all of this is going on. It's like if we were to do a juxtaposition, you got all of these conscious Moors beefing and whatever with each other and with everybody else. But then in the 85 world, I just saw a clip of these Moors in O Block and these brothers in O Block, and they all doing Juma outside. Like, so I'm like, so what? All of the killers had to die. Now all of y'all is doing Juma, which is great. You know what I'm saying? I think
man,
no. I'm just saying. Look
I'm
at
saying.
where Old Block is today and where it was prior to its explosion in the lexicon.
Yeah.
So something
Yeah.
is happening where these young men have decided that they want something better. And if they got to use the vehicle of Islam, the religion of Islam as Muslims to do it, do it. I'm going to support you doing that.
Yeah.
And hopefully y'all will expand it to understand the difference between the religion and the life culture, and eventually expand it to come back to the real thing. I can only hope, but I'm not going to say, oh, well, yeah, they doing that, but they really not on it yet because they ain't Moors yet. Like, they're already Moors.
Yeah. Right.
They
They just
already
don't
on their
know it.
way.
They just don't know it. Right. They just don't
They
know
on
it.
their way. So I'm not going to, and remember, we all was 85 at one point. We all was born pagan at one point. Whether you was born in the Moorish Science Temple of America or not. Because I know a lot of Moors that was born in the temple, and these niggas, they not Moors, if anything, just in name. They live like the most 85 you would ever know. And they was born in the temple. People, people sheiks and all that. So it's really not about your level of being on my level or his level of piousness or righteousness. It's about reaching your level of excellence, man. Your level of understanding and expanding on that. Stop comparing yourself to like when I was a young man growing up, we didn't do that. I didn't compare myself to what this nigga did. If he had the Gucci sneakers, the 84 Gucci's, and I didn't, I just had Jordans, cool. I'm gonna get mine, but I'm gonna wear these Jordans like they Gucci's, like on that level. Like we were supposed to, as men, you have to accept certain shit about yourself and be honest with yourself about that. So I'm never gonna be 6 foot, right? So okay, the NBA is not gonna be for me. So what's gonna work for me?
Right. Right.
So that's what I'm saying, man. Like we are all works in progress. And the more we allow ourselves to progress in the work, the better we'll be. So, like I said, as a man, you should care about what no other man doing. Not you, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
men,
yeah,
we
yeah,
should
yeah.
care
I
about what
don't.
no other man doing,
I don't.
what no other man think, so long as it's not affecting your specific family, your household, your woman, your child. But
Yeah,
and if it is a man that does that, if he's not doing anything that you as the man decree as beneficial to your family or whatever, then you definitely not fucking with him.
right. That's right. So
And
let me ask you this.
that's how it was.
Let me ask you this, Aseer. Look,
Mhm.
another thing also for me. This just for me, man. You know, every this whole debating thing that everybody's doing, right? I feel like by now, if you haven't figured it out, you just not going. You just not. You're not what we're trying to tell you what you are. You must be the other side.
Right.
So I don't understand, right? So I just feel like it's so much other stuff going on.
Exactly.
It's so much stuff going on. Y'all got to pay attention to what's going on. We're being invaded.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are really being invaded. We're being pushed off of our land
Yeah.
right
Again.
now. And like, and nobody's again, that's right, again. And like all of our frontline soldiers, all they want to do is kill each other
Party
about
and
nothing.
bullshit.
Argue about bullshit, about
Party and bullshit. Yep.
about arguing about my block harder than yours, your block harder than mine, my bro. Everybody got a hard block. Everybody got guns. Everybody. I'm tired of that, man. I'm so tired of that, man.
Yeah,
So
but you know, like the guards would say, the cream rise to the top. And I saw this happening in real time when it was happening, when it wasn't popular to call these niggas out, when everybody was going along with this nigga polite setting, teaching people how to set fires with his mind and all of this
yeah,
crazy shit
yeah,
that they was doing to market
yeah,
these people. You
yeah,
understand? While
yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time, I'm doing lectures and then like the low key blacklist is coming through. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he having a lecture today. We're gonna throw 5 lectures today. So the people got to choose which one it's going to be at. Oh, he putting up flyers here. We're going to take them flyers down. Like a lot of that was going on. And it was done by a lot of these same people that's in the so-called community today
Yeah,
that are, so-called advocates of, our type of instruction, but none of these people got a nationality. So that's what I'm saying. Like
so
in watching it
nationality, we
become that,
go.
in watching it become that, I stepped back and did my critiques about it while it was also happening to me on a platform, on my blog talk platform. And for 7 years, consistently showed and proved on that. However, we wound up stopping it because I also realized that nothing was going to change in this regard. And what was I really doing that for? And I think it was to have a audio record of
Yeah,
that shit
yeah,
when it happened.
yeah,
So
yeah.
people could always go back to those shows and then listen to the whole stick. And then when they look at these things we was talking about then and looking at the people today, you see, oh, this is why he wasn't rocking with them. This is why they wasn't doing that. This is why I never saw him in one of these debate leagues and things like that. It's not that I can't do it. It's just the fact that I don't.
I'm too busy doing other things, bro, like studying,
That
reading, being a
word,
father,
that
being a son,
and
running
and
my businesses. Like, bro, I've
and
been
like
doing
I
so much
said,
stuff.
I was, not
Now,
every.
look, knowledge of self. Like I'm the type of person where man, I'll curl up somewhere in the bed and just open up a book and just start reading for about
and,
3 or 4 hours.
just do that
Yeah, that'd be
because I
good.
didn't get into this to use my intelligence to lord over other men, and I think that whole mind state comes from those guys who came from the element of the street. They brought a lot of the street bravado into it, because of how they were raised and where they came from with it. And a lot of these brothers wasn't on knowledge shit back in the days. They got on it later. You see what I'm saying? After they seen other people doing it. But, or I say, however, if you don't have real documentation that you was actually out in the streets, you was actually like, then you technically just like the people in Hollywood now trying to use this new thing to come up. And there's more shit to do. Like when I said, like I watched them bring Umar up. So when I saw him finally get mentioned with the Donnell Rollins thing, I was like, oh, okay, this is it. And there's certain things that he talk about I agree with. There's things that every one of these guys have said that in some instances I agree with. That don't mean I agree with everything, but however, I'd rather find a commonality with somebody than a conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because we're men and conflict can turn deadly. And regardless to what era we in, we still have men, we still have egos, we're still men, and we're still that. So when I will find myself in circumstances where brothers are screaming to be heard, I get silent. I don't gotta do that. I don't gotta scream to let you know what I know, and all people know what I know. And what I know is that I don't know it all. And what I know is that because I don't know it all, I still have the ability to learn. Right. You see, which then gives me a certain youthful innocence that a lot of these niggas don't got because they don't feel you can't teach them nothing.
Exactly. You know, I've said that to maybe 2 or 3 other guys. I was like, you know, it might be wise for you to just learn something else. You never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. But you so stuck on it so hard. You just stuck on it, bro. How you gonna grow? You're supposed to learn constantly. Go ahead, see. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's it, bro. That's it. Hey, Moisey, how was it? It was good? Excellent. It's my son.
Okay.
Yeah, more like
Thomas said Islam.
He said Islam. He said Islam. Yeah. And that's the thing. I gotta be able to look at him and my eldest and my daughter. Be able to look at them and be like, your dad never compromised himself. As much as things have happened, I gotta be able to look at them and know that I'm worthy of being a dad. I'm worthy of that because of the things that I chose not to do to get bread, or chose not to do to compromise my long-term relationships with them. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like I had them taken from me when I was younger. You did for almost 15 years. You know what I mean? And had to go through all of that. People who know my story know about all of that. However, in the end, standing true, I speak to them more now than I ever did. And now the people who helped take them away from, they don't really rock with them like that. So everything has a season. You dig? Yeah. While at the same time, no, just because it's like that, and because it happened to me, I'm also not going to be in a circumstance to constantly make them feel bad or try to get them to choose, you see what I'm saying, between what happened then and what happened now. Still got to encourage them to find a way to work it out with these people, despite what they did to me. Because it's more important that they understand that it's better to not have that type of shit in your heart than to constantly harbor it, because it's only going to, because that's what they wanted, that's what they did it for. And I'm just a microcosm of the macrocosm that's happening to everybody. My whole generation went through this. You did. So I know I ain't special, but I do know
our whole generation.
Our whole generation. You know what I'm saying? And some of us are still dealing with it, unfortunately. However, the tide is changing.
Yeah, it is.
That change has come from people like us out here telling people the real about where all of this stuff is coming from and why we can no longer participate in it if we're going to survive, you know?
Bro, like, man, I just can't believe how well I just how things just been working out, man. You know, when you doing right, you know, when you doing right and you studying, you taking care of your family, you cultivating the babies, you know, you cultivating your home. You have to cultivate your neighbor, your community.
Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, don't cram it in people's throats. Now, I used to do that. I used to just try to cram the youngest. I just be on, rah, rah, rah.
I
But
think
I
we all
said,
did
you
that when
know,
it came up. I think we
right,
all
right, right,
come up because we be
right,
so angry that we
mm,
lied to for this long that we just want
right.
to spread it, and then it falls. Then it quickly turns into despair and disgust when you see that the people that you're trying to bring this to ain't trying to hear none of this shit.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
just feel like, you know, like you said, it's not for everybody to understand.
nah,
It's almost, I mean, you really can say it's esoteric for real, in a way.
that's what I'm saying.
You know, it's
Some
esoteric. Yeah,
mores are just esoteric. Some
yeah.
mores are secular. Some
Mm,
mores are religious. Some
mm,
mores are irreligious. They don't believe in nothing other than
right,
being Moors. You know what I mean?
right,
And that's their choice. That shows you the gamut of how vast the empire was. We had all of these different understandings, but what binded us together, that divine creed binding us together, is we all pledged against Rome because Rome
right,
represented the the bane of humanity. Rome represented the resurrection of all of the ancient evil Heresheth, uh, uh, Areopagite, pre-flood shit, Nephilim stuff that was happening, that was leading to women becoming goddesses and then using that station to enable child sacrifice and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like that is
yeah,
real
bro.
big.
Yeah, you know, I know. You know, come on,
That was
man.
real
Yeah,
big. And so
yeah.
today, when you see the same people doing the same thing, the same type of pageantry, you
Hmm.
realize we're in that time now.
Yeah, yeah.
We're in that time now. And if we made it past that time to now, we're gonna make it past this time to the new then. You know,
Yes,
just
Noble.
gotta let it happen.
Yes, yes, Noble. You know, I'm reading that book. I said, I'm almost done. Tartary, the greatest civilization ever to be erased from history.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Man, man, man,
There's
man.
another one coming out from a Caucasian dude called Tartarians and Moors.
Oh,
When the world, I think he watched my Barbarians Tartarians, because I did a video called Barbarians Tartarians maybe 2014, 2016, I don't even know. Anyway, it's called
all right, man.
Tartarians when the world was
You
Asia,
said like more about 50 years ago.
right?
Go ahead, brother.
Right?
Go ahead, brother. Go
But
ahead.
his joint, mine was called Barbarians Tartarians when the world was Asia. His is
Right.
called Tartarians and Moors when the world was at peace or something like that. And
Yeah,
from what he
yeah.
was on brother Moors in America, brother Lloyd L's show. Big up to him and his queen. And he had a
Moors
great
in
interview.
America. You talking about Sharif?
Yeah, brother
Yeah, brother
Sharif.
Sharif. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
brother Sharif.
yeah, he
Peace,
had a
brother
great
Sharif. Shout to me and the Sid shouting you out, brother
word,
Sharif and
bro.
Moors in America. Yeah.
Honest to him, man.
Good.
Honest to
Honest, man. Honest, brother.
him and his platform. And he had
Yeah.
him on there. It was a pretty good show, man. He was really going in on it. So again,
Good.
man, I like
Mm.
when the stuff that we was striving to make mainstream becomes that, because I know that I worked and put in work to change that paradigm. Because when I was first coming up with a little more science, I knew they were still trying to make Moors like they was white Arabs. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm.
beating that down so much, then it turned into, oh, well, they was only from North Africa. and then beating that down, then it was like, okay, well, they was in North Africa, but they was also in Northwest America. You know what I'm saying? We
A
beat that up.
maxim.
Then it was like, oh yeah, well, it don't mean that they was American Indians though. Then we beat that up. Then it's like, okay, well, some of them was, but it's like you gotta keep on code, and they always want you to throw off who you are based on your nationality. When they see that L and that Bay, or that Day, or that Al, or that Ali, and with that Fez and that turban, it's something in them, bro. I'm telling you, I've seen, I see it's always this vibe that they give you, especially when they know that you really on it. When you really on it, because they'll say, "Oh, you this, and that," then they be like, "Okay, well, you have ID," and then you see the ID, and it's like, "Oh shit, it's passport, it's this, is that." Okay, he really about it. Okay,
man, I done had girls jump out of cars, saying, "Are you a Moor?"
I done had people brought their baby. People brought their babies to me. This one time I was in Little Havana, and we out there eating, and the lady was walking by, an elder lady, and she had her grandbaby, and she stopped next to me, and she started speaking Spanish to the queen. So she interpreted. She's like, "Yeah, her people's from Cuba, and they used to see Moors." She said, "Oh, Moreno," and she brought the baby out. Was like, hold the baby. And then when we start talking, she's like, yeah, when she was a little girl, the Moors used to be by the pier, and they used to bring all of the goods and the wares and all that. So she remember as a girl that her grandmother would say that whatever Moors was always luck. Whenever you see Moors, that's luck. She said, so when she seen me, she wanted me to hold the baby to pass the luck on to the baby. Like, this is happening. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in front of my queen, in front of my son. So this is what I'm saying. So when people tell me that there's something wrong with Moors or something, this or whatever, they're not having these experiences that I'm having as this. I'm not looking for this. This is happening to me based upon what I have chosen to ally myself with. And I'm seeing the benefit of it. So I don't give a damn what you niggas say.
Exactly.
Or what y'all call yourself, or what you care about what I'm saying. I'm going to just keep doing work.
I know what's in my heart.
You know, exactly. And
I know what's in my heart.
In the work. And it's showing in the work, in my everyday. So whether I do another video today or never do another one, I know what I've done. I know that
you don't need no more. You got stockpiles of lethal information, man.
Islam.
It's the master teacher, man. Y'all don't know that? I hope whoever listening, man, I hope y'all understand this. The master teacher right here, man. You're of this generation.
Honest,
this master is him and Dr. Lean. That's who I stay close to.
Islam.
You hear me? That's why I stay
Again,
close
man,
to,
any of us from those times, Brother Alim, Brother Black Dot, I mean, so many people have passed, you know what I'm saying, since the time that I even started. And when I watch certain things and then I see like their influence in the same people that's trying to negate them, that's when I know, like, oh nah, this dude an agent, or this dude is a paid opposition. This person is really, because again, I had the privilege to be around a lot of these guys, and not all of them was grimy, and not all of them was, some of them were really good, but a lot of them was in a lot of pain. You know what I'm saying? And in pain. Like blessed dead brother Dawood, man. Like, he was another brother. He put in so much work. Him and the 7139 Collective put in so much work, and then to be low key blacklisted by the very same people, and then watching people he brought in the game now on a certain level, and then him always be dejected, always having to have all of these, oh, well, he was doing this and doing that type of shit. I saw, you know what I mean, that's not how you do a giant in consciousness like that. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't, I didn't think the way that he was treated, he wasn't as celebrated as he could have been. And if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have half of the new young crop came in, because a lot of them was impersonating him. So nobody would, I'll never meet anybody that militant. You know what I'm saying? Ever. I know. And I'm
Right.
just glad as an Aries, because he was an Aries as well. I know what it's like to
My
be
son's
betrayed.
Aries. My son's Aries.
Islam,
Amari.
Islam.
Islam. Amari's
So
one. He's an
Islam.
Aries. And my mom is an Aries.
Yeah,
Oh
my son,
man.
my eldest son's an Aries. I'm an Aries. Like I said, brother Dawood was one. And I know as an Aries, like Aries, unfortunately, we deal with a lot of like betrayal. Like
Right.
dudes will be mad cool with you, and they'll like niggas will be your friend, and then like
Yeah.
wind up
Yeah.
just betraying you on some dumb shit because you're not as engaged with them as they are with you. Whatever the politics is.
And can I share something with
Unfortunately,
you real quick, Aseer?
yes, please.
All right. Real quick. Just I don't really like to talk about my positive points because really my whole entire life was like that, what you just said. My whole entire life, man, I had to, you know, have these altercations with people.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part about the whole thing, all of them, all of my altercations I've ever been in,
Mm-hmm.
it was always because I was defending myself.
Yes.
It wasn't
You never
because
you
I
never
was,
went out there to hurt somebody on purpose.
no, no,
No.
I don't. Look, don't get mad at me because your lady is looking at me.
Story of my life. Yes.
Don't get mad at me because I know how to play the trumpet. Don't get mad at me because I'm the quarterback on the football team.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not doing nothing wrong to you, brother.
You are.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be reared uh 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 with that knowledge of self mentality when I was reared in the nation. And when I got about 10, my dad we went to more science. And then
Honor.
about 17, we took our shahada.
Praise Allah. See, with your
Okay.
pops.
Right. My pop was pushing the whole, and it's 12 of us. I'm the oldest.
That's a
I'm the oldest of 12. Right.
that's a blessing, brother.
And my thank you, bro. But see, I don't really, this style right here, people don't really hear. Because I don't really, I don't want nobody to be like, oh, he just on there, bragging and bullshit. Nah, can I be truthful sometimes?
You gotta have both sides, man.
Yeah, can I be truthful? Let me just be truthful. Yeah. So, I've always been that guy, man, that I remember one time I invested some money into a partner of mine's business, and he took the money and ran.
Been there.
So it's been numerous situations where I would open my heart up to people and try to get them on some business deals because I am a contractor. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really, I was blessed enough to be able to work with my hands and
Islam.
use my brain. You know what I
Islam.
mean? Yeah, yeah. My dad used to own a rebar company,
Okay.
right? My dad's a doctor, right? Dr. Paris McGee Bay, senior,
Islam.
right?
Islam.
Islam. So man, I love him, man.
The
First of
bless.
all, you're supposed to, and not just that. I'm grateful because people don't, man. Listen, man. Some people don't have that.
Nah, they
You
don't.
know, understand if you have this situation, use it to your advantage. A lot of the kids nowadays, I don't know what's wrong with them. I see they're fighting their parents. They're
Because they were born.
shooting their parents. I see.
Because they were
But
born in iniquity. They were born off a one night stand. They were born off of perks. They was born off of, you know what I'm saying? Like they was born
yeah,
off of getting, you know, busy behind
yeah,
the club in the alley. Like these
right.
children are not born with preparation. We used to prepare. We used to prepare
So
the year.
so so let me say this since we on this topic real quick. So honestly, I say that to say this. I feel like this, brother. For me, right about now, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing.
That's right.
I need to be giving back to the youngsters, the
That's right.
generations to come. See, people don't know how to focus on the generations to come.
They don't care.
Do
Like,
you
you
even
don't care.
care? See, we're
They don't
supposed
care.
to create these steps. We're supposed to create these generational steps. So it's called generational wealth. And and you climb, and then 10 generations later, your bloodline is good.
Yeah, but
Well
that
taught.
that starts with a plan, bro. You gotta understand. These people think in TikTok minutes, bro. They don't have long term planning. Like Fannie Willis didn't think beyond the acceptance of the task given to her by her masters. She only saw, oh, I'm gonna be able to get bread. Me and this nigga gonna go stunt. We gonna go to Bahamas. I'm gonna get. You understand? Like this, is how they see it. So when the screws actually now get turned in, you start to realize, oh, you really didn't think none of this shit through. And not only that, you're not even really educated for this position. You were only put in this position based upon your color. So they didn't even respect you enough to make sure you had enough mental fortitude to do it. So really, you just a crash dummy. You just an agenda pusher. You probably don't even have a law degree. Like you just, and it's
You
not
probably have
her.
a
It's everyone that they've put in power. This is an epidemic across the country. So-called black girl magic, educated AG, Senate, mayors, and attorney generals, and lawyers and judges. These bitches are destroying the country, right?
right,
And
right.
and on a certain level, when we were going through our Black Power phase and everything, you would figure this is what we wanted. We wanted to see the destruction of all of that. But see, that was when we was young. That was before we actually had our own young to then want a future and something better for them. So we
Okay.
stop thinking in an insular situation and start thinking again generational. These kids today, these people today, these women today, these men today are saying shit like, I don't need a woman to have a baby. I don't need a man to have a baby. I don't need, you understand? Because they have been bred through this communist, liberalist, Marxist, nihilist, you know what I mean, corptocracy that they've been fed all of this time, that
Yeah,
they don't need to procreate. So
yeah,
this is why you had an epidemic of people choosing to get the jab, choosing to do that. And now that they're all dying, what has happened? That means that those of us that didn't get none of that, we are the number one pure humans on the planet. It's not many of us left in that regard.
yeah.
But
That's
now,
true.
in the future, you got to start speaking to people and start asking them shit like that. Well, were you ever tested? Were you ever shot with the jab? Were you ever done that? Because this thing now can jump out of them onto you. So they
Mm.
made the people who look like were sick were actually well, and now the people who were acting like they're well because they got this thing are now sick. So what does this say? This says that we're not supposed to believe anything that these people told us, because especially us Moors, we supposed to know man knows not from being told.
Come on, say. Come on, say.
Therefore, it is what you know it is to be based upon what research you did to go out and get it. If it's
Come
anything
on,
other
say.
than that, it's hearsay. And hearsay is
Exactly.
inadmissible when
So
it
what
comes
he's
to
saying is, do the knowledge,
that's
okay?
it. That's
Nuts.
it.
Do the
That's the best thing you could
knowledge.
do.
Don't be just going by. They said that the news, NBC said no.
They ain't gonna be there in the
Do
hospital
the
bed with you.
knowledge.
They ain't gonna be there in the hospital bed with you dying. They ain't gonna be doing none of that. They're gonna be like, you should have known better.
Right.
And to believe anything we tell you. And that's what I tell people every day. Don't believe nothing that these people telling you until the time comes that you could change the outcome. And that's it. Up until then, just let them talk. Everything is collapsing. So all we got to do is look, the
Keep
more
doing what we cook, like you told me. Keep doing what we've been
you do,
doing.
keep running your race, man. Slow and steady win the race. The more we withstand, the less they can endure. You understand? And
Yes.
that's, to me, that's really the mantra for it all, bro.
Okay, brother.
But we all we got, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. So I appreciate what time. What we
Thank you
got?
for having me on, bro.
We've been rocking all long. What time
For
is
a
it,
minute,
y'all?
I want to show some books real quick. This is
Oh,
a good
all right.
book you can
Let
get.
us hear rock out, y'all. Listen, y'all. Pay attention.
It's a good book you can get called Pirate Utopia. It's real small, but it's real jam packed with real good stuff about Moorish information about the Barbary powers, the Barbary states, a lot of the Catholics that converted to Moorish science and fell as vassals under the empire. Really good book to get. This is another good book written by a good brother who sent it to me, Brother Mirage. Yeah, Brother Mirage. It's called The Midnight Mirage Presents, but the brother's name is Mirage. And it's called America, a Moorish Paradise. A Moorish Paradise of the Plumed Serpent. Real good book to get. One more is another book written by another good Moor who sent me his work. It's called Hidden Nations. It's a great book. You want to check that out. I really love the generation that we're in and the ones under us, the younger brothers that's brothers and sisters that are inspired to write more books, modern books on us as Moors writing books about Moors. Like that's the type of stuff we need. And so I try to support anyone I know who is doing that. So if you or more anybody that has a book or books coming out or whatever, let me know. I'll definitely read it, and if it's all good, you know what I mean, I'll definitely give you a plug and a shout, because we need to support our own scholars, our own literature on it. We need to create our own Moorish Schomburgs and universities and things like this, that we can commune the way we used to, where we would ponder things like education in the old Moorish universities like Salamanca or the Grand Court of the Lions and stuff. When you read about the stuff, like some of their education was just them sitting around pondering, just sitting around talking, the same way we do now, but amidst the grandeur that allowed them, their minds to open up, that had certain fragrances and flowers that were conducive. Like there's certain flowers that are conducive to pineal opening. There's certain threads and fabrics. Like they used to have fabric back in the days when you would be sick, especially they saved this out after World War II. But back then, all of the hospitals used to have linen as their bedding, because what linen allows the body to naturally heal. So what they started to do is they started to strip all of the linen out of the hospitals and then started using mixed fabrics like polyesters and shit like that to keep people sicker. When you look at a lot of the old mummy wraps of the sarcophagi and all of that, that was all linen. So if you got linen sheets, right? You got linen clothes, all cotton clothes, you want to have 100% cotton, 100% linen, shit like that. So this way, 100% wool. Whatever the fabric is, you want to make sure that it's pure. It's a real fabric, because those fake fabrics have deadening mechanisms within them that dull your aura, that open you up to illness and sickness and shit. That's why most of these fashion houses are run by Satanists. You understand? Because the fabrics and stuff that they using is mixed and messed up with nylons and polyesters and ultra fabrics and stuff. When really, if you get a cold and you get sick, after you do what you need to do for the day, get you some linen sheets and sleep in it. I guarantee you will feel 100% better by the time you wake up. These are the little things that they would do to get rid of our modes, our modalities of healing and stuff like that, which is why we actually stopped writing shit down and would pass this on by word of mouth. Like, remember your grandmother? She used to be sitting there and making food and humming.
Yeah.
Everybody had a grandmother that did that, right? Especially if they were
Everybody remember did that.
they're humming, right?
Yep.
The reason why they was doing that was that, whether they knew it or not, humming especially in a nice tune, puts you into an A type vector that allows the pineal gland to reverberate and starts to heal itself. It starts to amplify the energy outside it. So the more you hum, like if you were to listen,
so it's like a
yes, 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 it's like that, but it's
right,
internal.
right.
So
I
when you
got
do
you.
that, when you start humming, especially if you like the song or it's something pleasant or whatever, and she used to just sit there and just hum. It wouldn't even be a song; they would just be humming.
Right.
But that humming allowed the pineal gland to open, which is they could put all of that energy into the food. That's why the food was so good they used to make. You know what I'm saying? Because they was
Yeah.
able to do that. They even had a study where there's some people who get mattresses and box springs that have bees in the box spring, because when you sleep on top of the bees, the vibration of the humming heals whatever illnesses and shit that you have. This is where all this stuff coming from. Like the movie Dune is out. People should go see that. I've been a fan of Dune for years.
Oh
I read
yeah,
all of the
dude, it
books.
is out. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is
my
out.
my
Yeah,
uncle, bless the dead, Uncle
yeah.
Nathaniel
Bless
Legree, bless the
dead,
dead.
bless dead, Uncle
He
Daniel.
he was doing a 12-year bid, and he had access to the prison library. And for some reason, he used to send me mad adventure books, and he sent me the whole thing with Doom. So I was reading that from when I was like 12, 11, 12, somewhere between 12, between like 11 and 12. And in that book, it's all based. The Fremen is the Moors. Like it's all about the Atreides house. When you watch the movie, the it's all of the noble houses of Europe and all that. Like it's all laid out in there. But the worms that they're riding in that actually comes from Kemet. There's actually images of the Comedians riding these giant worms that they put in the temple, like the temple of
Yeah.
Aptos, the temple of Seti. It's even down in the south. In I think they got a relief of it in the temple of Dendera as well. But yeah, all of that stuff was real, and all of the real stuff is now coming back into light, and it
Yeah.
all has a Moorish face on it. So
It's the time. It's time for it.
time,
It's time. It's time for it. That's why I think
time,
ancestors in the law guide us doing the digging and doing the homework.
praise
And
Allah.
praise the law. I think really we were appointed because it's time. Now it's time, man.
Yeah,
It's time.
we decided to stay and
Yeah.
keep reincarnating until the time come where we don't have to do that no more. And now this is the time. So, like they said that the war was supposed to start yesterday on the 1st. It didn't. So, so again, we are keeping this thing afloat just by us being here. Just by you being a righteous, positive man, woman, or child, you are keeping at least people 3 miles in your natural circumference alive, just based upon the positive energy and the magnetic frequencies that you're putting through your heart. Because we know Allah exists in the heart, and the heart itself is a 3-pronged mechanism that actually is more about your etheric and ether-based body than your physical. It takes ether energy and turns it into physical energy. That's why, regardless of how much you could lose a certain amount of blood, and for some reason you'll be able to regenerate that blood because it's bringing it out of the ether, and that ether is penetrating through your pineal organ. So the more you allow the ebb and flow of shit to move around you, the better you're gonna be. So definitely get them linen sheets. Get rid of all of the mixed fabrics. That's actually one of the laws that the Hebrews supposed to be telling y'all. I don't know if they done told y'all that, but anybody in the Hebrew Israelite thing, one of the things in the Bible verse say you're not supposed to wear mixed fabrics. So stop doing that. Make sure all your shit is 100% linen, cotton, 100% wool, 100% cashmere. Got to be something real, but specifically linen, especially if you sick or you got a sick loved one. Get them linen sheets and see what happens.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, brother. Can you let Aseer, first of all, are you tired, brother?
Actually, yeah, I gotta get. What time is it?
Yeah. Wait a minute, let me look. Oh, we've been rocking out for a minute, man. We got
Come on.
Quarter to 10. Quarter to 10. Well, we started kind of late too, because we were trying to check in.
Because the computer and all that. But now we
But
can
that's all right.
do it
But,
again. It's
yeah,
all good.
but we thank you, brother. I appreciate you. But I gotta tell you, man, respect, love, and honest to you.
Honestly,
Because the underdog, like, since I've started the new YouTube thing, right? We're putting cameras in my face.
yeah. And never get used to
You
it.
you and I from a culture where
You don't talk to the camera.
yeah, you don't talk, okay.
You don't talk
So
to the
the
camera. Word.
nah. So the
That's why
kids,
sometimes I'll be fidgety and shit because I'll be like hot. I'll just be like,
yeah, it's a funny feeling, like
I'll
it's
never
over,
get
yeah.
used to it.
Because we come out of a different, we was cut from a different cloth, so yeah. But I just wanted to tell you, brother, thank you, man, for offering your wisdom to my platform.
Islam.
And I don't have 50 million subscribers.
So good, man. But the ones you do have is the real ones, and that's how it builds. You know what I mean? Word of mouth. That's how I was able to do my thing, by being consistent and staying as true to the game as I can be, and not involving myself in areas around people that didn't have my best interests. And so long as you're doing that, the people, that's going to reverberate to the people, and the channel going to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, brother.
Because you would be doing this without a channel. So you be doing this in your real life. I'll be seeing you with your lives. You be out in public, habit, and building.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
what it
Thank
takes.
you, brother. Thank you.
And that's
Thank
what
you,
it
brother,
takes.
man.
People need to
Thank
see Moors, live as Moors,
yes,
and live,
yes,
and then want to understand and try to imitate that example.
yes.
I don't care whether they ink temples or resurrect the temple, whatever temples, or even if you're not in the temple, you in a group, or you in a more Moroccan state, or whatever the little enclaves they have to keep themselves divided. I take pride in seeing those different groups do well. So when I see those things come up on Facebook with the ink and they little meetings and the gatherings and the elder sisters and the babies, I love that. That's awesome. Same thing when I see Moors demonstrating in their Moroccan state thing. That's great. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not religious, so y'all are. Y'all aren't. That's cool, but y'all still are representing how you can in your platform. Cool. So long as you ain't trying to destroy Moors or defame Moors or slander other Moors, then I'm gonna support what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Because a little bit, I have to calm down a little bit. I said,
Now that fire is good though, because that keep you from being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? And it keep the short sharp. So you want to keep verve. You just want to know. You want to be able to deal with any type of conflict dispassionately.
Right.
Deal with it as clinically as possible, and therefore you save any type of guilt or regret in having to deal with that action.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
The more stoic we are, the more we understand one book or another book people could read, especially men. Read Marcus Aurelius, man. You know what I mean?
Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. He wrote a whole book on Stoicism. The term Stoic is based on him. Get the Marcus Aurelius book. When I was going through family court, that's all I was reading. Marcus Aurelius. Another book called the Hagakure, which is called the Book of the Leaves.
Hagakure, or just go by the Book of the Leaves?
Hagakure. It's called the Hagakure, the Book of Leaves. Get that book. It's
Man, I was listening to you a couple of days ago. I was going, Aseer know the title of all the books. Sometimes I forget the books and the authors and stuff, right? Word. You remember all the books, man. The GS, man. I call Aseer the Grand Sheik, man.
At one point, I was homeless. At one point, I went through a little phase and I was homeless, and all I had was
that's called life. That's called growth. That's called trials and tribulations that turns you to be the man you are today.
Yeah, and them books, I literally at some points literally slept on them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could do that, especially if you want to get in tune certain knowledge of certain books. One of the little keys that I learned was you
Yes,
could
sir.
read. You read, and then like right before you go to bed, if you want to like really in tune more of it, you could actually take the book and put it under your pillow, sleep on top of that shit. When you wake up,
Mm.
you're gonna have even more of an understanding of what you. It's almost gonna be like you read it already. That's happened to me many
Mm.
times. Like, I've learned how to train myself to read in different ways. You know what I mean? So those are little tricks you could do that can help you, and the listeners, um,
Okay.
in tune more
Okay.
information. Because remember, the pineal gland is really always open, unless it's calcified. Right now, your pineal gland is open. Mine is open. Ours is open. Your listeners is open. They just tell us that it's closed. They just tell us that it's calcified. So we could go through some sort of fake chakra ritual with them, and they could trick us into closing it for real. When
Yeah.
really it's always open.
Yeah.
The only time it's closed is when it feels that it's about to be usurped, and so it can go dormant within itself. But again, we don't look at they call it the pineal gland, but it's actually an organ that works with
Yeah.
your orchid gland, which is in between your testes and your sphincter. So yeah, man, we
You
really
said what was the second one to say? You said
it's called the
what,
orchic gland.
orchid.
So you have the pineal organ and the orchic organ, but they call it a gland. They work in tandem. So the one is at the top. This the
Yeah,
mid
I know
high
about the
heaven,
pioneer. I definitely know about the
right?
pioneer.
It's the
I
high.
didn't know about the orchid.
Yeah,
The
that's the
orchid.
pineal gland in the lower self. So the orchic gland is in the bottom, and then the pineal organ is at the top. But the orchic
Right.
gland, this is the gland that lies between, like I said, the testes and the anus. Is right in the taint, as they say. So when the sodomites be doing it, this is what they're trying to tap into. You see what I'm saying? Trying to
Yeah.
bust the orchic gland open. So now
Hmm.
you just be flooded with lower
Right.
chakra energy all the time. That's why them niggas be on that stuff. So that's why I said, don't let these niggas feel you got to do some sort of crazy chakra rituals and all that. When you hear them start using them words, kind of like back up. What you want to do is just focus on the fact that that everything that you need to succeed with what you have right now. You just gotta organize yourself out of the chaos to make it happen. You know,
Okay, bro. Good. Good.
indeed. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I just want to say honors and
honor,
respect to you. Honors and respect to the chat, man, that came
honor to the
through
chat. Thank
and
you
really
guys for
stuck
the
it
support.
out. Yeah, Aseer, tell everybody about your everything, brother, how to get in contact. You want me to do it? I
Oh
do it,
yeah,
brother.
you could do it.
If you gave it to me, yeah, you been running there. Take a breather.
Yeah, man. You can
Yeah,
hit
take
me
a
up
breath.
at
I
House
got
of
you.
L.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Thank you for
Got you.
posting the link. But for anybody listening that's not on the joint, you can hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com for directly, or you can hit me up. You can go and check out the A dot app. It's live right now on Google and Apple Play. You can subscribe to that, and then shoot me a message in there. For everybody that's in there, I do have a video request thing that we can do, but I'm still working on how working out times that I'm gonna be able to hit everybody back with that. So please be patient with me. But thank you for the support on that. Also check out www.aseerthedukeoftears.com for all of my links. And up there you can check out my book, The Dark Scroll 418, the world's most dangerous comic book novel.
Yeah, I'm waiting on mine. I'm waiting on mine.
Yeah, it's coming, bro.
I know.
Send it on there
I
for
know,
you to
bro.
check out, as well as definitely check out www.cordobaorganics.com, and definitely check out if anybody wants to donate, you can go to CASHAPP, # capital DS 418. You could always send something there. That's peace. And again, you can check me out on Facebook under Aseer Ali Cordoba, because they wouldn't let me use Aseer the Duke of Tears for whatever reason. And also on YouTube, please subscribe to me there, as well as Rumble. But again, you can go to my www.aseerthedukeoftears.com, and all of the links to all of my different sites and Rumbles and all that stuff is there. The only thing I don't have is I don't I don't do TikTok, Instagram, or like locals and signal. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
see, man.
I can't I can't
Now,
keep
now
up
I
with
know.
all of that.
Man,
So I got
now I know why
YouTube.
me and you blood, man. Now I know why we blood because we think a
Word, I
lot
can't do
alike.
again too much luxury. That shit, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
man. Too
saying?
much. Man, too
That
much.
shit mess everything up. So yeah, man. So if you want to holler at me directly, do that. And like I said, man, thanks for having me on. Thanks to
No
all of the
problem, brother.
Moors of the Moor Science Club of America, all of the different factions, all of the Moors of the Greater Empire, whether here in the country, anybody within the sound of the voice, anybody that's ever supported me, definitely thank you for the support. I really appreciate it, and I wouldn't be able to be heard if y'all didn't listen. So again, thank you.
Okay. All right, y'all. I guess that we done. We good. We just
We
got the
good,
good wisdom from the master teacher. This is
honest,
Pastor Moore, man. Y'all can
honest.
find me on Facebook at Paris McGee Bay Jr. on Facebook, right? McGee Bay Jr.
Islam,
Uh, 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 I have a clothing line called Indigenous Apparel.
right, bro?
I got a bunch of apparels. Uh, they've all been designed, so now I have to get this website up, and yeah, I'm gonna get that stuff started. Also, IG is indigenous50 underscore apparel.
Sounds good, bro.
Indigenous50 okay, it's 1510 underscore at I'm sorry, this is IG. I keep getting they both almost the same. But
Mm-hmm.
indigenous 50 underscore apparel. Now, my email is INDIGINEOUS50 at gmail.com. Man, I had a ball tonight, man, with Aseer, man,
All right,
because
bro.
I could sit down and listen to this brother rap. Look, man, the first time I saw Aseer do a video, it was in Latin and it blew my mind. I
Uh,
was like, I was trying to figure it out for a long time. For a long time. I was like, is this brother? Yeah, is this brother? Yeah, it's in Latin. So peace, man. I'm hungry, going to eat. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Love y'all, man. Keep your head on the swivel. Stay strong. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. Please share it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like it. We need to get this type of energy out there. We need to push truth and rearing our children the correct way. Men acting like men, women acting like women. Pastor Moore. Peace, man.